Good afternoon, everyone. Let us start. Remember, we have been conducting practicals in geography, and last time we discussed about essentials of map making, and today we shall learn about different types of maps. Now, let me present my screen. Types of maps. Let us read. Before we start different activities, we have to discuss about the meaning and the concepts of different types of maps, and that is why we are discussing about it. So maps can be classified on different bases. Okay, maps can be classified based on a scale, based on a function, and so on. So let us read types of maps. Types of maps based on scale. The first classification is based on the scale. So on the basis of scale, maps may be classified into large scale and small scale maps. Okay. Scale, I think about the meaning and this meaning of scale we have learned earlier, and about the meaning of maps also we have learned earlier. So here we have read that maps are classified into large scale and the small scale based on the scale. Large scale, for example, see here 1 is to 5,000. Okay, 1 is to 5,000. Or this 1 is to, say, for example, 250,000. So these are examples of large scale maps. And about the small scale maps, say for example 1 is to 2 million, for example. So this is an example of small scale map. Okay, see, because see here, for example, why it is called a large scale map. So if you divide 1 by this 5,000, okay, so what is the value here? 1 by 5,000. If you divide 1 divided by 5,000, okay, just divide it and compare. And another one, okay, see here in this case also, if you divide 1 by this okay, 2 million, and see, you will get a smaller value here. Okay, you will get a smaller value here, and that is why we call such type of scale as the large scale map, and this is the small scale map. Just let us divide. Okay, okay, it is here. Just let us divide 1 divided by 5,000. It is 0002. Here 0002. Okay, so this is the result. And again, if you divide this 1 divided by this 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3. Okay, see the value here. So it is much smaller, and that is why we call here the fraction is small, and that is why we call small scale maps. Okay, so let us read. Large-scale maps or large-scale maps are drawn to show small areas at a relatively large scale. Okay, so large scales are drawn to show small areas in detail. Okay, so here, since the scale is large, so we can represent, okay, the features on our surface in detail. That means large scale maps represent, okay, small areas on the earth surface in detail. And large scale maps are again further divided into the following types. So the first type of large scale map is a cadastral map. Okay, so the term cadastral is derived from the French word cadastre, meaning register of territorial property. These maps are drawn to show the ownership of landed property by demarcating field boundaries of agricultural land and the plan of individual houses in urban areas. Okay, cadastral is derived from French word cadastre, meaning register of landed property. Okay, register of territorial property, and these maps represent the ownership of landed property. So by demarcating field boundaries. Okay, see here. So this is an example. So this map is an example of cadastral map, and see here. See this is the boundary. Okay, this is the boundary, and so this is the boundary of a person. Okay, boundary of a person, and here we have. I think you may be seeing some kind of number. So this is the registration number of that particular person. Here in case of India, these numbers also given, and we call it pata number. I think some of you may be knowing. Okay, those who are staying in the plain areas may be knowing about it. Okay, so each individual has a pata number, has a registration number. Okay, just see here, and so this is the boundary of another person. So here in this way, okay, so these are the different boundaries. These are the boundaries of different people. Okay, and these cadastral maps are drawn on a very large scale, such as the cadastral map of village. Here, generally, the scale is 1 is to 4,000 scale, or for the city plan, the scale is 1 is to 2,000 and larger. Okay, sometimes it may be small as 1 is to 500 also. Okay, a very large one. So this is what we call cadastral map. Okay, see here, everything is shown in detail here. Trees are growing here. Okay, and public features. Okay, playgrounds, everything. Then these roads, culvert. Okay, almost all the important features will be here. Will be shown here on this type of map, that is cadastral map. Are you clear? Do you have questions?
No, sir.
Okay, then let us proceed. Remember, we are learning these types of map based on scale, and we are learning about large scale maps. And large scale maps are subdivided into these cadastral map, then topographical maps. Okay, after cadastral map, we have another type of large scale map, that is topographical maps. Okay. So topographical maps are based on precise surveys and are prepared in the form of series of maps made by the national mapping agencies of almost all countries of the world. Okay, so every country has the surveying agencies. Okay, mapping agencies. Like for example, in case of India, we have Survey of India, ASOI. That is Survey of India. So this is the mapping agency. okay, a premier mapping agency, and this agency is preparing, making maps, okay, for the whole country. Okay, see here, actually here maps are prepared. Okay, for example, the Survey of India undertakes the topographical mapping of the entire country at this scale. 1 is to 250,000, or 1 is to 50,000, or 1 is to 25,000. Okay, so this is the largest one. So these are the different types of maps prepared by Survey of India. Actually, here, actually see here, series of maps. Actually, Survey of India does not prepare the map for the whole country in the one sheet of paper. Actually, they are preparing these maps for different parts of India in small sheets, and all these sheets will be combined together. For example, here we have Manipur. Okay, this is the map of Manipur, and the Survey of India is dividing, okay, for example, here into different sheets. So for example, this is sheet 1, this is 2, 3, like that. Okay, and it is continuous. So here sheet 1, after that 2, then 3 and 4, in this way. And they are preparing these topographical maps. Okay, and how they are giving these numbers, composite numbers, we will be learning later on. Okay, see, let me show you just one example. Actually, when we are in the lab, you can see these different different topographical maps, okay, of different part of India. So this is an example. Okay, this is an example, a piece of a topocid. Actually, this is not the whole sheet. If I present the whole sheet, then you may not be able to see the details also. So this is a part of a topocid sheet. Okay, so uh, see here, these are contours. Okay, these are the contours. Contours, you know, line joining places having equal height from the earth, from the sea level. And here also see, this is a mountainous area, this is also mountainous area, and the height of contours also given here. Okay, and the rivers also represented, I think you may be seeing. Okay, so this is a forested area, and here this is a settlement area. You must know that roads are represented by red lines. Okay, so here also some important features of the earth surface are represented on this map also. Even culverts of your locality, okay, are also shown on such type of maps. Okay, so this is an example of a topo sheet. How is it numbered? We shall learn it later on. Okay, and so these are the two types of these large scale maps. Remember, we have two types of large scale maps. The first one is cadastral map, okay, and another one is topographical maps. And topographical maps are prepared in series. Okay, all these map series can be joined together. Okay, are you clear? Any question from your side about the scale and about the types of large scale maps?
No, sir.
Okay, then see, uh, here we have small scale maps. Okay, we learned that maps are classified based on a scale. We have two types of this map based on scale. The first one is large scale map. The second one is small scale map. Okay, so small scale maps are drawn to show large areas. So here in this case, okay, in this case, large part of the earth surface will be represented in a small sheet of paper. In case of a large scale map, okay, a small piece of land is represented in detail for the large scale one. And say, for example, in case of large scale, a village, a town, okay, will be represented in detail. And in case of small scale map, a large part of the earth surface like the whole India or the whole continent of Asia will be represented on a piece of paper. Okay, in case of small scale maps. Okay, and the small scale maps are further divided into following types. So we have two types of small scale map, wall maps and atlas maps. I think you are familiar with these two types of map. Wall maps, I think somewhere in the lab, in geography lab also, in the classroom also, or in the offices also, you may be seeing maps hanging on the wall. And those are examples of wall maps, okay. And the wall maps are generally drawn on large size of paper or on plastic base, okay, PVC sheets for use in the classroom or lecture halls. And the scale of wall maps are generally smaller than the scale of topographical maps, but larger than the atlas maps. Okay, so for the these large scale maps, sorry, small scale maps, the scale is smaller than the topo sheets, but larger than the atlas maps. Okay, say for example that one is to this one 25 million, for example. Okay, so this is an example. Then atlas maps, atlas you know is a volume. Okay, atlas is a volume of these maps. Actually, maps are these bound into a volume, just like in the form of book. Okay, atlas maps are very small scale maps, and these maps represent fairly large areas, sometimes the whole earth also, and present highly generalized picture of physical or cultural features. Here only the big prominent features are represented on the atlas maps. These are not detailed, okay? And even so, the atlas maps are maps serve as a graphic encyclopedia of the geographical information about the world, continent, countries, or regions. We have known that atlas maps represent highly generalized picture of the physical or cultural features, but we cannot ignore the significance of atlas maps. Okay, atlas maps are also very important for the students because atlas map serves as a graphic encyclopedia, a house of knowledge, okay, of this earth surface, representing geographical information about the world, continent, countries, or regions. I think some of you may be having these atlases also. Next, we have these types of maps based on function. Okay, so this is another classification based on function. Broadly, maps based on their function may be classified into physical and cultural maps. So based on function, maps can be classified into physical maps and cultural maps. Okay, physical maps show natural features such as relief, geology, soils, drainage, that is river system, then elemental weather, that is temperature, rainfall, okay, for example, humidity, then climatic condition, vegetation, etc., etc. That means physical maps represent natural features such as mountains, okay, lakes, rivers, oceans, then rocks, their age, then types of soils, river system, about the climatic regions, okay, rainfall conditions, etc., etc. Okay, so now let us learn different types of physical maps. So the first type of physical map is relief map. So relief map shows general topography of an area like mountains and valleys, then plains, plateaus, and drainage. So relief map generally show mountains, valleys, plains, plateaus, and river systems. Okay, and see, this is an example of, okay, this map is an example of relief map. Okay, see here. Here, as I told you, these green areas represent low-lying areas, plains. Okay, green areas represent plains, and the brown color areas represent plateaus and these mountains. Okay, sometimes plateaus are also represented by yellow color also. See here, we have Rocky Mountains, we have Andes Mountains. Okay, and this is also another type of this relief map. Here slopes. Okay, here this map shows a slope. Okay, slope of uh, Timor Leste, a country. Okay, a small country. And see here, slope category is also given here. Okay, 0 to 5 is represented by green color, then 5 to 10 is represented by a light green color, and accordingly you will see. So all these shows the slope of the lane. Okay, slope, you know, this is the slope. See, this is what I call slope. And this is also another map, okay, showing slope. This is a type, this is the example of a relief map. Okay, this is a slope map of province of Bohol. Okay, a province of the Philippines. And see here, slopes are represented in percentage. Okay, and next we have geological map, another type of physical map. Okay, these geological maps are drawn to show geological structures, rock types. Okay, it also represent these bedding about the bedding plains. Okay, then about the deeps also. So it represents the different types of rocks, then minerals, age of the rock, mortar formation, everything is represented, okay, in the geological maps. See, this is an example. Geology of Texas, geological map of Texas. And see here, here we have the explanation, okay. Yellow color represents this alluvium, okay, and orange color quaternary, like that. Okay, so these are the different geologic ages. This means that the green shaded areas, green colored areas, for example here, we have formed during the Jurassic period. Okay, just this is an example. Okay, next we have these climatic maps. Here, climatic maps. These map depict climatic regions of an area. Okay, then besides, maps are also drawn to show the distribution of temperature, rainfall, cloudiness, relative humidity, direction and velocity of winds, and other elements of weather. Okay, so generally climatic maps represent climatic regions of a country or a region or a state. Okay, in addition to this, climatic maps are also represent Okay, this about the distribution of temperature, then distribution rainfall, intensity of rainfall, cloudiness, relative humidity, direction and velocity of wind, and other elemental weather. And here this map is an example of these climatic maps. So here this map represents major climatic regions of Africa. Okay, see here. Here, see, these are the explanation. Okay, see here, tropical climates. Here, green color represents rainforest. Okay, then this light orange, for example, grasslands. Okay, here, dark one, semi-arid. That means semi-desert. Okay, then red one, this is desert. Okay, here this is desert. So this is an example of climatic maps. Next, we have these soil maps. Okay, these maps are drawn to show the distribution of different types of soils and their properties. Soil maps show distribution of different types of soils and properties. Okay, physical and chemical properties. What are the this chemical composition? Okay, of the soils. Everything is represented in this type of map. And so this is an example of soil map. So this is the soil map of the USA. Okay, and this is according to these USDA orders. Okay, United States Department of Agriculture soil orders. For example, these alti soil, then arid soil, intapsid soils, for example. And I think this map you are familiar with this. So this is the map taken out from class 10 book, showing major soil types of India. Next, we have this another type of map based on a function, that is cultural map. Remember, we have two major types of map based on a function. The first one is the physical map. Another one is the cultural map. Okay, so cultural maps show the man-made features, and so it has different types. Okay, so we have the political maps. So these maps show the administrative divisions of an area such as country, state, district. The political map shows boundaries of countries, provinces, state, districts, and subdivisions. Okay, and this map facilitate the administrative machinery in planning and management of concerned administrative unit. Next, we have population maps. Okay, so population maps are drawn to show distribution, then density and the growth of population, sex, age and the sex composition, distribution of religious, linguistic and social group, occupational structure, etc. etc. Okay, that means population maps represent different characteristics of population. Okay, and see here, this is an example of population map. So this map represents distribution of population of Manipur. Okay, so how to prepare such type of map you will be learning in class at 12. Okay, and next we have these economic maps. And so economic maps depict production and distribution of different types of crops and minerals, location of industries and a market, routes of trade, and the flow of commodities. Okay, so this is an example. This map is an example of these economic maps. Here, okay, it represent the crop produced in this area, in this region. Okay, and as well as it also indicates different types of industries. Okay, different types of industries are also located on this type of on this map. So this is an example of these economic maps. Okay, so this is a part of this USA. Okay, Next, we have transportation maps. So this map shows roads, railway lines, and location of railway stations, airport, etc., etc. And here, so this is an example of these transportation maps, transport maps, and here you may be seeing different lines here. Okay, you are seeing lines. So all these are railway lines and highways. Okay, of European countries, and this is an example of these transport maps. Are you clear? Any question from your side?
No, sir.
Okay, do you remember how to prepare the index? Last time I told you to prepare index, and after that you must write down some important notes on your practical notebook, and after those notes activities will be followed. Do you remember? See, for example, last time I told you that this is your practical notebook, okay? And here on the first page, you have to prepare the index, and on the left side, write serial number, okay? I think it is already there, serial number. Then name of the activities can be here, name of activities, and then you may write date, okay? And the page number you can add, and after that the remarks, then signature. So last time we discussed about essentials of map making, and after that write the date here, page number 1 for example. Okay, then teacher will sign here. Tab for today, serial number 2. What is the name of the activity today, conducted today? That is types of maps, right? Types of maps. So what is the date? Today's date is 19/12 2020. Just write page number, okay, here signature. So in this way you have to prepare, okay? And if you don't have these questions, then let us stop here for today. Thank you very much for joining my class.